So let me ask you a question. How many people in this room think that the Democratic establishment in Washington is listening to you and doing what you want? Seriously, I'm asking, raise your hand if you feel heard. If the leaders you elected are actually listening to you and doing what you want them to do. Love Barbara Lee. Me neither. Because I don't see a single constructive thing coming out of Washington, D.C. Not one thing. In less than a year and a half, Donald Trump has gone from someone too awful to think about and who can't win to someone so awful we have to think about him every single day. And I don't see the Democratic establishment doing anything real to stop him. They're not willing to face a devastating and obvious truth about this president, that he is wildly corrupt, and that we are well past the threshold to kick him out of office. A lot of the people in the Democratic establishment will agree with me on those points in private. But when I ask them if they're willing to step up and take a stand, to act publicly, I get a lot of long-winded non-answers. Their message to me and the 5.5 million Americans who are demanding Donald Trump's impeachment is that it's bad politics. It's off message, and it will galvanize the Republicans. So my question for the Democratic establishment is, how corrupt is too corrupt for you? Getting unconstitutional payments from foreign governments to your personal companies, something this president does virtually every single day. Is that too corrupt for you? How about a $500 million loan from the Chinese government? What if 58 constitutional scholars identified 9 different grounds for removal? What if one of those grounds was public obstruction of justice? Would that be enough reason to take action? This man is in command of our nuclear arsenal, and he can launch missiles in under 8 minutes. We know that. Yet there is no sense of urgency among the Democratic establishment. Let me ask you guys a question. Do you think Donald Trump is unfit for office? Do you need to wait for Robert Mueller to tell you Trump is wildly corrupt? Then here's my message to you. If you cannot trust Mr. Trump to make judgments on social justice, about the health and safety of all Americans, or on democracy and the rule of law, and you cannot trust him, then you should join the movement of 5.5 million Americans who've had enough. Not just with Trump and Trumpism, but also by the attempt by Washington insiders to bury this uncomfortable truth that he needs to be removed from office. To you and to me and to millions of Americans, this is all pretty obvious. But not a single person in the Senate Democratic caucus has shown the common sense or the sense of right and wrong to support impeachment. Not one. In fact, there hasn't been a serious effort to introduce a motion for impeachment in the House since December. That's 8 months ago. The establishment Democrats are going to come here to speak to you guys because they want your support, but they won't take an actual step, a real move to rein in a reckless, dangerous, and lawless president. And I would say to these politicians, if you don't think impeachment is a good idea, if it's too divisive, then what's your plan?